This post-game show brought to you, presented by Belfour Property Restoration. And we have a final from Oxford. 41-10, Ole Miss taking down Tulane. Remember, earlier in the season, Ole Miss won 45-10 over Tulane. So this time, just 4 points short of tying that mark. Trinidad Chambliss was great, 23 of 29, almost 300 yards in the air. How about Kewan Lacey with 87 rushing yards, also had a rushing TD. Kenjon Stribling, excellent. And the Green Wave, 3 turnovers, all by their QB, Jake Retzlaff. We now welcome in former All-American running back and 3-time Super Bowl champ Kenjon Barner and former Florida State standout DB and 2-time Super Bowl champ Bryant McFadden. And y'all, going into this matchup, there were a lot of people who thought maybe Ole Miss would come out tight or too jacked up, right? Because of everything going on with Lane Kiffin, the distractions. They made clear that that was not going to be the case. An absolute shellacking, B-Mac. What did you see from their discipline and focus to let everybody know, listen, we are prepared. We don't care about what happened with Lane Kiffin?
You said it. I was very, very impressed with the discipline that we saw from Ole Miss for 4 quarters in this ball game, because there was so much emotionally tied to this game because of Lane Kiffin, you know, just leaving the program, going to LSU, not knowing exactly which coordinators or coaches would be a part of this potential playoff run for Ole Miss. The fans were in an uproar. The players clearly felt some type of way, because I know if I was a part of that team, I would feel some type of way knowing that my coach decided to basically bail on us to take another job. But what we saw was the leadership surface amongst this team in front of our eyes for 4 quarters and said, regardless of what has happened outside of the building, we still have an opportunity to do everything we want to do this season, which is take 1 step closer to getting ready for a championship run. And they took care of their business. They didn't come out flat. They didn't come out rusty. They didn't come out trying to find their groove. No, from start to finish, they came out and they were not playing the radio today against Tulane. And you talked about it. They basically did the same thing they did against Tulane the first time with Lane Kiffin.
Right.
You know what I mean? So this is a team that's dialed in, and it was a pleasure to see from afar because of all the adverse situations they were put in.
This was a testament to the players and his coaching staff, right? Keeping the main thing. And that's what you have to do as a professional athlete, as a collegiate athlete. It's going to be a lot of noise that's consistently around you. But when it's generated and created right at home, right from the nest, sometimes that's a little tricky, and you see teams fold under. But this team did exactly the opposite. They stood tall, came out with something to prove, and they played like it from start to finish. We had an idea of what this game would look like, but you also didn't know because of everything that had went on over there at Ole Miss. But like I said, this coaching staff, these players kept the main thing, focused on the task at hand, and let the rest of the country know that they have something to prove.
Yeah, with Tulane, you know, John Summerall, obviously he's going to be moving on to be the head coach of the Florida Gators. How much do you think that played a role in their inability to be effective, Kenjon? Or do you feel like it's just simply a matter of, Ole Miss, they got better players than Tulane?
Listen, it's shopping at Target and shopping at Walmart, right? It's 2 different stores. You may get some of the same things, but the value is going to be much higher at Target. So when you look at this team and you look at the coaching changes, I don't think it had anything to do with that. I just think there was too much in the kitchen cabinets on that Ole Miss side. I think there was too much to handle in Chambliss, Kewan, the defensive side, just too much on that side of the field for Tulane to handle. We've seen it earlier in the season, wow, drawing a blank. Whether Lane would have been there or not, I think this was going to be the result. It's just too much on the other side of the field.
And to add to Kenyon's point, they were walking into a beehive anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We already knew it was a different in terms of the talent pool that Ole Miss had in favor over Tulane. But because of everything that was thrown into this ball game, it made the stakes even that much higher. The fans were hyped. They were fired up because they want to show Lane Kiffin, you made a mistake. And guess what? We can also look better without you. So the fans wanted to make that a point. Clearly, if we were all on this team, we would have that and on our mindset. Man, this man didn't want to be with us. Let's let him know, bro, we're better without you, and we're going to win without you. So this was a point that they wanted to prove regardless if they were playing the green wave or the blue wave. It didn't matter. It just, unfortunately for Tulane, they walked into a beehive, and this was going to be a tall task because of everything else that was circulating, along with the differences in talent for Ole Miss.
What's funny, though, they proved to him, they can win without him, but he's still reaping the benefits, right? Because the further Ole Miss goes, the more money he makes, and LSU is going to pay for those incentives. So Lane Kiffin, I guess, getting his cake and eating it too in this case. But what do you say?
Highway robbery.
Right, for real though. But it's now time, y'all, for the Belfour Player of the Game. A lot of players to choose from, whether it's Chambliss, Kewan Lacey. You talk about the all defense, forcing those turnovers on Jake Retzloff. B-Mac, I'll start with you. Who is your Belfour Player of the Game?
Gold all in my ring. Gold all in my chain. Don't believe me, just watch. I got to go Trinidad Chambliss. He is my player of the game, man. When you talk about being in his bag, he completed almost 80% of his passes, 79 to be exact, for a grand total of 282 yards, 3 total touchdowns. I understand some people might say, well, we don't know if they can actually get to a championship without Lane Kiffin. This man will make you think otherwise because of how he plays the game, and he's a bona fide playmaker at the quarterback position, and he showcased his playmaking skills tonight. He's outstanding, man. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC that no one is really talking about like that. He's been doing this since day one, since becoming the starter there for Ole Miss. So he's my player of the game. Like I said, 3 total touchdowns, man, 282, 79% completion percentage is outstanding. It's flawless.
And I'm going complete opposite. Typically I'm an offensive guy, right? You're a defensive guy. So we're going to switch up a little bit.
Opposites attract.
I'm going to the trenches, man. I'm going to go with my guy Cam Franklin, 4 tackles, 3 solo, half a sack, had a pass deflection, a guy that just was all over the field today, got the job done, stepped up when his team needed him to step up, and again, went out there and made a name for himself.
Yeah, made a name for himself, and this is a team that seems destined, right, to make a lot of noise in the college football playoff. Next up for them will be Georgia. We'll get to that in a little bit of some time. Now, when you think about largest wins in college football playoff games all time, Ole Miss up there, right? Tied with Clemson back in 2016 when they defeated Ohio State by 31. So they left no doubt on this night that they are still a very, very good team with or without Lane Kiffin. Ole Miss moving on to the Sugar Bowl after destroying Tulane 41-10 in the first round. Trinidad Chambliss was spectacular, nearly flawless, right? 23 of 29, almost 300 passing yards. Kewan Lacey on the ground was great. Jake Retzloff for the Green Wave was not, okay? 306 yards, but he also had 3 turnovers. Not the result the Green Wave wanted, but probably the result a lot of people expected. Ole Miss wins 41-10. All right, we're back here with B-Mac and Kenjon Barner, and now we have a rematch, right, from earlier in the season when Georgia won 43-35. I know Ole Miss is hungry, B-Mac, to get their lick back. When you think about how these two teams are playing as of late, because a lot has changed since that game, right, when the defenses were optional, what stands out to you about this heavyweight matchup?
I think when you look at the first matchup compared to now, where we see both teams, Ole Miss, they're playing really, really good football still. But I think Georgia, they're playing better football right now than what we saw early in the year. The issue for Georgia earlier in the year was slow starts. They were playing around with their food a lot in the first half, and then we saw the adjustments that led to a different style of play in the second half, and they actually played in favor of Ole Miss getting out to a nice lead in that ball game. Remember, in the third quarter, they had a 9-point lead in the third quarter on the road. Everything in favor of Ole Miss to win that ball game. But the adjustments, Kirby Smart, one of the best coaches, the best coach in college football, got his guys rolling, and that led to 17 unanswered points in the fourth quarter by UGA. So when you factor in what we saw in the first meeting, I think Georgia will get off to a better start because they've been playing better football as of late in the first half. And can Ole Miss get the running game going? Because in the first meeting, Trinidad Chambliss led them in rushing. That's not ideal when you have a guy like Kenjon Lacey in the backfield, who I believe is one of the best running backs in college football, especially in the playoffs. He didn't do anything. I mean, he had 31 yards and he only had 2.6 yards per tote. That's not winning football.
You know that ain't good, Kenjon.
Not for a guy of his stature with his athleticism. So those are the two things. Those are the things that really stuck out to me, and that's what I'm looking to see for Ole Miss. Particularly, can they find a way to generate the running game? Because we saw Kenjon run the football effectively, which makes the entire offense better.
I'm not too sure that's going to happen. I'm just not too sure with the way this Georgia Bulldog team closed this season out. Watching the way that they played defensively, this team is playing at another level right now, and this is playoff football. This is not a space where you want to run up against Kirby. This is where he's at his best. So when you look at the head coach and you look at the way Gunner's been playing as of late as well, distributing the ball, being comfortable in that pocket, I think it'll be a tall task, and especially everything that we talked about with Ole Miss, everything that they went through, it'll be a great storyline, right? To lose your head coach in Lane Kiffin, make it to this spot, beat Georgia, move on. I'm not too sure that's going to happen.
Okay, you're not too sure. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I mean, what we saw in the SEC championship game, right?
That's a tall order.
Yeah,
that's a tall order.
They were lights out on defense. Now, when it comes to whether it's offense, defense, maybe a key player, what is going to be the difference maker from winning this game and losing it when it comes to Georgia, Ole Miss, BMAC?
I mean, for me, it's Kenjon Lacey. I think he has to be one of the more impactful players for Ole Miss to kind of slow down the Hunters on Georgia's defensively. They did a great job in making sure they would not allow the running game to get going. And then for Georgia, it's about Gunner Stockton. Gunner Stockton has been balling. Gunner Stockton is going to mess around and play his way into an NFL opportunity for sure.
I can see it.
In the first game, he threw for 289 and 4 touchdowns. And the thing about Gunner Stockton that most of us don't talk about, the athleticism that he has in the running game also.
That's what they were missing with Carson Beck, right?
Yeah, he can extend plays. You know, he's a +1 in the running game. When you play against Georgia with Gunner Stockton, as a defender, it's like trying to scout 12 guys instead of 11. Gunner Stockton is 2 players in 1. He is the quarterback, but any given time, he can turn into a runner, and he's more than a willing participant in the running game. And I love that with him. Just protecting the football, that's always going to be a key in these major games that we're highlighting. But those are the two players that I'm looking out. Gunner Stockton, can he continue to build on what he's done, especially after the first meeting? And can Kenjon Lacey play better? Because if he runs for 30 or 40 yards in this ball game, in the Sugar Bowl, they won't have a shot to win this ball game.
You know what that means? O-line, wake up.
Wake up.
Okay.
My guy's going to be Trinidad. I'm going to stay on that Ole Miss side. If he can come out, control this line of scrimmage, deliver the ball downfield, be timely with his passes, and make plays with his legs, he'll give this Ole Miss team a great shot at winning. It's going to be a tall task versus this Georgia defense, as we've seen the way they played in that SEC championship game. But if Trinidad can come out, have a Johnny Manziel-esque type game, right? Go out there, put the team on his back, and do what he has to do. That'll give them a shot, but again, and then I'm also going to lean on Kirby. Again, it's hard to beat Kirby in this spot. This is a coach who's been here year after year, time after time, game after game. He's used to this spot, and so is his coaching staff. So if you could figure out a way to out-coach Kirby, out-scheme him, you got a real good opportunity.
Which is a hard thing to do.
Especially with a head coach, Pete Golding, right? Who wasn't even supposed to be the head coach.
But that's the great part about football and these it's an opportunity, it's a chance. Can you do it? Are you going to put the time, the effort, and the energy in knowing what you have ahead of you? Because if you can come out and win this game, that will put your name on the stage nationally and everyone will be talking about you.
And to your point, Chris, great point. Pete Golding has no pressure.
None.
He's not supposed to be here. He's not supposed to be here. He's playing with house money. Because of the situation that provided the opportunity. So it puts all the pressure on Georgia, and Kirby Smart. You know what I mean? Puts all the pressure on them. So if you're Pete, man, you already should be comfortable and be relaxed because of this position, but you're playing with house money. There's no pressure. You know what I mean? Think about when you first got into the lineup and you weren't supposed to be the starter, and now you're in there. Well, heck, I ain't the starter, so if I screw up,
they're going to just kick me out.
Yeah, I'm not even supposed to be in this position. You know what I mean? So I think Pete, he's going to embrace the opportunity, man. And I saw the line. It's 6.5.
Yeah, 6.5.
It's a close game. It's a close game.
It's 6.5 right now as we see it, man. So that kind of tells us something without telling us something. But it will be a tall task for Ole Miss.
It might be a tall task, but hopefully it will be an entertaining game that goes down to the wire. BMAC, Kenjon, I always appreciate the insight, gentlemen. So for Ole Miss, there was 12 wins after their victory against Tulane. Most in a season in school history. And these two teams are meeting multiple times in the same season for the first time in the series history. The teams have split each of the last 4 meetings, with Georgia getting the victory in the regular season, 43-35, with a ferocious fourth quarter comeback.